Welcome to the Raw Experience with Chris, where honesty is at the forefront of every video.
Well guys, what's going on? Just woke up and thought I'd do something a bit different today. Yeah, I suppose you could call this episode 1. I may do this more often. Just wanted to do something a bit more raw and just, talk about a few things in the, I suppose, 3D printing circles, with printers and price wars and, other things going on that I suppose are a bit of a concern. And yeah, just a bit of a catch up as to what's been happening. I've never done one of these videos, so yeah, so I just thought I'd do it a bit different. So welcome to episode 1 of Cuppa with Chris. I got my Vegemite cup, yeah, so morning to you. But yeah, so look, just a bit of a brief. Got a few things going on at the moment. As you know, from if you've watched other videos and subscribe or review to my channel. If not, welcome. I hope you like the content. But going back, I worked with CoPrint and still am working with CoPrint, on and off as sort of tech and Australian support, I suppose you could say. A few more videos coming out with that. But, I haven't been posting as regularly as what I wanted to. And there's a bit of a reason for that. Some people may know, some people might not know, but, one of the reasons I got into 3D printing was I had an injury. I used to work in engineering, fabrication, mechanical maintenance, and then I crossed over into government defence with a background in the, military and PTI as a trainer and defence instructor, and got into an injury where I sustained a crushed vertebrae, and I was recovering from that. And then there was a stage in 2020, I suppose 22 to 23, I re-injured myself, and that sort of put a little bit of a hamper on producing content, and the channel sort of stalled a little bit, which was very depressing because I was looking forward to doing more content. Things were sort of really pushing forward. And yeah, so I ended up finding out that I actually fractured another vertebrae and prolapsed the disc. So you can imagine that would be quite painful. Just standing was horrendous. So, moving along from that, don't want to go in too much into that, but basically that delayed a lot of content. Even when I started the CoPrint stuff, it was still hampering me a little bit. A little people were saying, when are you going to produce more content, blah, blah, blah. And that was pretty much the reason why I was getting a lot of rehab, getting my pain sorted out and getting things, mobile. Fortunately, now everything's controlled, everything's going smoothly. I'm back to going to the gym, put on a bit of weight, so I've got to get back to the gym, try and strengthen up my back and my core, get all that sort of sorted. So that's, I won't go too much, but that's pretty much where that was. Channel's moving forward now, got lots of things happening, everything's in the positive, so fingers crossed, everything will be going smoothly, health's good, so that's that out of the way. So the reason why I wanted to make this video today, apart from, a bit of a catch up with everyone, was just to let everyone know that, I am working on a few different projects. We've got some big stuff in the pipeline. I've got Gtech, for those who don't know, Gtech is primarily a filament manufacturing company, and they've decided to jump on board. I've got a review coming up with some of their filament. The reason why I've decided to go with them is primarily because in Australia, things are, I suppose you'd say, not cheap. We're in a bit of a economic inflation, well, not inflation, but it's expensive. Just the grocery store is incredibly expensive. I mean, for the Americans who know what a pack of Tim Tams is, it's like $7 just for a pack of 12 biscuits. It's nuts. Like 3 litres of milk is $5. It's just crazy. So, there's that. But primarily with the filament, they're very well priced. I always have never liked the idea of sponsorship and agreements and NDAs and having to submit videos for editing to companies, and I never will. That said, when it comes to things like filament and materials, it's not going to influence anything to do with anything I do with 3D printing reviews and what I think about, certain things that I do with machines and things like that. So it's great to have them on board. And one of the main reasons I looked at them was After chatting to the rep, I found that they have a direct outlet in the US and Australia. And here in Australia, we don't have a lot of access to the top tier filaments that people have in America, like Matter Hackers and Polymaker and all these sort of places, and Voxel and those sort of things. So, Gtech having Australian-based location distribution and US as well is great. And also the fact that their filaments are insanely cheap, which is awesome. So I'm going to go into that in a later video. But basically today, I wanted to talk about something that's really sort of struck a nerve with me, and I suppose it's struck a nerve with a lot of Aussies, maybe even Oceania or Australasia area in general. And that is the pricing of certain 3D printers compared to the European markets. And for instance, Elegoo, if anyone decides to watch this from Elegoo, I've got a few reps that I know. I want you to listen to this, and I want to know why your pricing doesn't reflect the US dollar. And what I mean by that is, you've got this, new printer, the Centuari Carbon from Elegoo, which is all over the internet. Everyone's ranting and raving about it, although it does have, or has had a few flaws from what I've read. And the shipping hasn't been that great from some consumer experience. But, you've got this, the whole pre-sale or the whole sale behind the Centuari Carbon with Elegoo was all about this $299 USD price point, and it being an awesome price for the, whether it's the professional or intermediate or even the beginner, to have this magnificent cheap price point that everyone can get into from a Core XY printer. But that's where the problem is, and that's where the problem lies. And it does lie because it is a lie. And Elegoo, you're a lie. And why do I say that? Well, if you look at the pricing structure of the Centuari Carbon, and in fact all of Elegoo's products, and I've compared this with Creality, Anycubic, Flashforge, and other manufacturers out there, and Elegoo, for some reason, are the only one that don't reflect their pricing with the US dollar. Now, people will rant and rave and say, Australia's in the middle of nowhere, compared to the US, da-da-da-da. Well, in actual fact, it's cheaper to ship from Asia to Australia than what it is to the US. We also have less duty and we have less tax imports, and our custom fees aren't that crazy. So we only pay, for anything below $1,000, is only 10% GST tax. And then there's, I think it's 2 to 3% duty. That's it. That is across the board with everything. So per item. So even if you've got 50 items in a container, for each of those 50 items, if it's under $1,000, it's 12%, if that, on top of the cost price. So, when you're talking now, how do we work that out? So we've got $299 USD for the Centuari Carbon. I don't know if you can see it on a laptop or not, but basically, you can look it up yourself. But the US market, we've got $299 for the USD for the Elegoo Centuari Carbon, and if we look at Australia, I don't know if you can see that. That's $649 AUD. And you may turn around and say, well, Australia's, got shit currency. Well, yeah, we do. The Australian dollar's dropped. But if you do the conversion, $299 to the Aussie dollar is $473 AUD. Now, I don't know where you get $649 from, but that's $200, just shy of $200 inflation. Now, Elegoo, where's the justification in that? Now, people may say, oh, that's with everything. No, it's not. If you actually go to, for instance, let's look at Anycubic. Anycubic, shipping from China, just the same as Elegoo. Probably Anycubic and Elegoo roughly around the same size company with the same size production. Probably not as big as, say, companies like Creality and Flashforge. So you think, justification, smaller company, prices aren't, not much bulk, prices probably higher. No. So if you look, for instance, at the Anycubic Cobra S1 combo, which is Anycubic's new flagship Core XY printer, with the multicolor AMS, you're looking at $599 for the Anycubic Cobra S1 combo, $599 USD. Now, if you look at the Australian price of the Anycubic Cobra S1 combo, that's $959 AUD. Now you think, oh geez, but if you do the conversion It's 900. So the conversion from 5.99 USD to Australian dollars is $948.31. So hold that thought, $948. $948, and Anycubic has got it on for $9.59. So Anycubic, what are they doing? Well, they're inflating the price by what? You know, $12, $13, $14. What is it? $9.59 to $9.48. So what? $9. Oh no, $11. So you've got Anycubic, which, you know, I mean, I'm not going to scroll about $11. Great, awesome. You know, you've got to incorporate hidden costs and so on. Maybe a smaller consumer quantity. It reflects the cost price per unit, possibly. That's fine. You know, so it's not across the board. And you've got Elegoo, which is supposedly this big $2.99 Centuari carbon, but yet, you know, they want to charge Australians, and not just Australians, mind you, it's New Zealand and it's all of Oceania. So, you know, these people in, you know, Thailand and Singapore and Malaysia, they're paying around the same price, you know, and the islands as well. You're talking, you know, we're not a 300 million populous country, but in that region, you know, you're talking, you know, 30, 40 million people, you know. So Elegoo, where do you get off? You know, you're ripping off genuine consumers. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Australia is one of the fastest Western growing countries, even island countries in the world. You know, we're multicultural. We have so many different cultures here nowadays, it's ridiculous. I mean, as a state, we have 250 to 300,000 migrants in my state per year, minimum. You know, so, you know, in 10 years' time, we'll be, you know, it's just ridiculous. But what I'm trying to get at is, you know, this whole, you know, sales of $2.99 is bullshit, Elegoo. You know, like, seriously, where do you get off? You know, like, I hope people watch this and comment below. And I'm obviously going to get a bit of hate and a bit of, you know, this and that. I don't really care, mate, because you know what? The people who are going to mention that aren't the ones that live in Australia. And if you don't live in Australia, you don't know shit. So I couldn't care less. So say what you will, but at the end of the day, you know, and even if you're an Elegoo fanboy, I mean, you look at, I mean, even Bamboo. Bamboo's one of those ones too. So Bamboo, I didn't bring this up, but Bamboo Lab, they do it as well. Not as bad as Elegoo, but they mark it up as well. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever because, you know, like I said, shipping is cheaper to ship here than what it is in the US. So, you know, like, and the taxes. I mean, I don't know what the US are going to do with these tariffs that apparently Trump's putting in, but, you know, yous are all going to complain when the prices go up with the tariffs. Oh, we're paying an extra $20 US. Oh, we're paying an extra $50 US. Mate, you're still getting it rock bottom cheap compared to what we're paying. You pay an extra $50, we're paying an extra 200 plus, you know. It's ridiculous, you know. So that said, I'm actually doing I've got a video coming up working with FlashForge, another great company that prices their products reflectively as they should be. I'm doing a project with FlashForge. We've got the ADX5 multicolor printer coming up. I've also got some more co-print things coming up. Sorry, that just got me a little bit revved up. That really does frustrate me. But yeah, so got some other co-print stuff coming up. I've actually got some kits. I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. So when we'll do the Gtech lineup as well, they got some awesome filaments. Speaking of Gtech, their PLA starts at, I'm pretty sure it's $12 USD for their PLA, and no more than, I think it's $18 or $18.50, which is roughly, I think Australia AUD, the most expensive filament is $28, and their PLA Plus or PLA Pro is around it's around $18 to $19 for 1 kilo of PLA Pro, which is absolutely insanely priced. It's crazy good price. And being that they have companies in US and Australia, distribution centers in the US and Australia, that's awesome. So it means you get your filament straight away on time. I mean, I got this filament, it was shipped to me from sales 2 days. So, you know, I mean, that's quicker than, you know, Creality and all the other local distributors that are actually, you know, got larger distribution centers here. So hats off to Gtech. They have got a crazy amount of matte colors. They've got wood filament colors. You know, I'm really looking forward to working with them. So I'm going to have some price deals on that as well. I don't want to flog it too much, but I just think they're a really good quality filament, a great company, and they're very well priced. But anyway, like I said, I've got a new video coming up. Should have it up this week, and we're going to do. We won't be including the Elegoo Centauri because we're going to be doing the top 5 best budget entry-level Core XY printers, the best bang for your buck, and it's definitely not going to include the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. Sorry to all the US people, but I'm sorry, but $299 USD for you guys, as opposed to $650 Australian. No, you can get rid of that one. That, in my mind, is not an entry-level budget Core XY printer. So I've got a few that I'm going to be running on. So, you know, like the Creality K1, the FlashForge Adventurer 5M, the Runout Sale on the King Room KLP1, and potentially either the Two Trees or one of the other ones. I can't think off the top of my head, and a couple of other ones. So I'm going to do top 5 on there, and I'll be giving you a breakdown in depth of, including price comparisons of the best budget entry-level Core XY printer from, you know, counting down to 1. So that's coming up in the next, probably, what are we at today? Friday. So hopefully drop that by Sunday. So yeah, that's what's coming up with that. Also, I just rebranded, so I've got a new logo. I'm launching Patreon soon. I'm teaming up with 2 designers. So I've got a couple of designers. One works within the model area, one works within the prototype and workshop area. So the idea is to use both of those designers to fill that niche market. I know there's not a lot of people who produce models for the workshop scenario, customized tool stuff. So I'm looking at doing that, and they're releasing, you know, 2 or 3 custom files, workshop files, as part of the Patreon membership, which I'll probably start off, you know, $2, $3 a month. And we'll probably do them live too as well. So got some more tutorials coming up. So yeah, so I just wanted to pretty much touch base on that. The Elegoo Centauri thing, you know, it's been flooded all over YouTube and the internet and Facebook, and it really just, you know, I was talking to some friends of mine in Australia, and they were pretty pissed off as well. You know, we were looking forward to this printer, and, you know, I'm not monetized. I don't get paid to do this. You know, I do this because, you know, sometimes it's harder to do it than what it is, you know, easier. So, you know, but that said, I enjoy it. I enjoy the feedback from people. I enjoy helping the community, and, you know, I get something back from, you know, helping people, making sure that they get value for money, you know, and I think that's something that's missing in this industry. So yeah, Elegoo, you should be ashamed of yourself, honestly. Hats off to other companies like Anycubic, FlashForge, and Creality. They tend to, I wouldn't say overcharge, but they, you know, do charge a little bit more, you know, but it is what it is. So not much we can do about it apart from complain and put the pressure on the companies and not buy them, pretty much. So, you know, if you're like me and you live in Australia, I'm not going to buy Centuari Carbon until the price reflects what it actually says it is for sale, you know, and if they're going to advertise it as $299 USD, well, sorry Centuari, sorry Elegoo, but your Centauri Carbon, I ain't buying it. And I'll be telling everyone else not to buy it as well until such time as the price reflects what your advertised price is. So, you know, that's pretty much me with my cuppa, probably going cold by now. Got a bit annoyed, you know, I got a bit worked up there, but that's all right. So yeah, that's pretty much what's in the pipeline, and that's pretty much that. So you know, if you've got anything to add or comment below. You know, I expect a bit of riff-raff and, you know, some negative posts in the comments, but that's fine. I don't care. Doesn't worry me one bit. You know, any comment's a comment. So good luck to you. But anyway, positive things ahead. You know, live life to the fullest. Stay strong. Remember, every thought that you decide not to do is something that you could have done to make yourself greater. So that's something to think about with the final thought for today. Anyway, I'll catch you later. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.